Here's 2 little tips for you in relation to the genitive, otherwise known as an Tuiseal Ginideach, and for many people, the toughest part or concept of the language. Tip number 1 is that often you have the opposite effect on a word from it going the nominative to the genitive or vice versa. That sounds a bit linguistic, but when I explain it, it shouldn't be too bad. Nominative just means the default. If I say the week is starting now, tá an tseachtain ag tosú anois, that's the nominative, okay? It's pretty much everything apart from the genitive. So let's take that for an example. Seachtain for week. If I was saying the week, it would be an tseachtain because it's feminine. If you don't know your rules in relation to definite article and changing spelling, ban to an van for woman to the woman, you kind of need to know those first before a lot of this is going to be a help to you. So an tseachtain because it's feminine, but then in the genitive it's going to be no seachtaine. So it takes the T in the nominative, loses it in the genitive. And that's going to be the same for all those feminine S ones. They won't have a T in the genitive. But then if I think of a masculine one, let's say Sarah. So it'll be an Sarah, the summer, nominative in normal cases. You know, the summer is good, tá an Sarah gona. But then in the genitive, it's going to be an Tarry. So it gains the T. So it's almost like it's flipping. Okay, it's going to gain the T in the genitive. I can think about it for another one as well. Let's say cluiche for game or match, cluiche. So if I say the game, it's masculine, so it's not going to take anything on cluiche. But if I was saying during the game, genitive, it's going to be on cluiche with the CH. So notice what you do to it in the nominative, you kind of do the opposite in the genitive. Equally, if I have something like vibe, which is feminine, that would be on ibe. The problem, it's going to take a H, but it won't take a H then in the genitive. So what you do to it in one, you normally don't do to it in the other. Another tip for you in terms of trying to figure out what gender a word might be is knowing your different rules and using one of them to prove the others. Again, sounds a bit linguistic or almost mathematical, but when you break down, hopefully it's not too bad. Let's say I want to say place. Okay, I want to say the place. And I'm thinking, okay, I know if it's masculine, it's on touch, and I know if it's feminine, it's on och, but I don't know if it's masculine or feminine. Well, once you know your other gender rules, you'll probably be able to figure it out. So if I know, okay, in the genitive, feminine one's taken na, and masculine one's taken on, and I can think, chimpel na háte. I've heard that before. I heard someone said that to me yesterday, chimpel na háte, or I heard it on a podcast, or I had it written down, whatever. Well, let me backtrack. Chimpel na háte, so therefore no, och must be feminine. So if it's feminine, therefore it's on och, because it's only the masculine ones that begin with a vowel that would be on toch. So using one to prove the other is very important. Okay, equally if I'm trying to say whatever of the problem, and I'm thinking problems is take a na or an on, well I know it'll be na if it's feminine, on if it's masculine. Oh, I've heard someone say the problem is bad, tá an ibe go done before. So if it takes a H, therefore it must be feminine, and you're kind of working backwards from one answer to get to your root point to be able to go forwards to the other answer. But the key there is knowing your rules. Knowing, okay, in nominative, in normal, feminine ones, they can take a H, will take the H after a definite article. Ones beginning with an S that are feminine will take a T, on tseachtain, on tráid for the week or the street. And then masculine ones beginning with a vowel will take a T as well, the T hyphen on the spelling, on thuaidh for the author, or on talt for the article, knowing it's na for feminine genitive, on for masculine genitive, and so on. So I know there's a lot in there, and the main thing is just knowing your rules, but if you know them, hopefully those tips might be able to help you out in some way.